Hey guys, Dee here. How are we all doing? I hope you're doing well. So, I'm in my garden. I'm finally going to be doing another garden tour. I know I filmed one, didn't like it, but if there's any footage of stuff that looked better than it does now, I'll probably insert that into this video. But yeah, I'm just get into it. It's a very bright day, so I'm hoping that the garden will look semi-decent. So let's get into it. So here we have like a menagerie of stuff that is all going to be planted somewhere else, but it's just got to be potted up for now. So this is stuff that I have that's probably all for the shade garden. It's all for my front garden. So we've got some hostas. This is a hellebore. That's just empty. Need to pot that up. Another hosta. Yes, obsessed with the hostas. We've got a heuchera here, a Celtic Sea. It was planted in with the Brenner, if you guys remember in my video. The Brenner is kind of taking over this one, so I put it in its own little pot and hopefully it can, you know, grow without any problems now. So yeah, another hosta. We've got another hellebore, which we just purchased not too long ago. Look at this flower. Like, how gorgeous is that going to look? I can't wait. I'm excited for this to bloom. So the other hellebore, this one, I think is just a white one. It's a bit scorched. I have to like cut some of this foliage off, but that's fine. It's the same with this Brenner. It got scorched. I didn't realize, you know, we've had some whack temperatures over the past like month. So this is September 1st and I'm filming this, and like the past 10 days or so we've had like thunderstorms, it's been like windstorms, and it's literally been like torrential raining. So, you know, my garden's not fared, it's not fared too well. Like the garden's been wet and a lot of things have like blown over. So yeah. So then here we have a fan. I think in the last video I showed, well, I haven't showed you guys, but there was another, what was it, a Cleome in here. Didn't like it, so I pulled it out. Again, this is going to go in the front garden. This one is called, I don't know if you guys can see that, a Diopteris. And this has actually dealt with some sun, so you can see that it is a little bit scorched because I kind of did let it dry out when we had this like ridiculous 35-degree weather. But I mean, it's doing really well, so you know, can't complain there. And then we have something new, which I just put together not too long ago. It's my kind of like, it's in this kind of, I don't know, what do you call this? Like a trough. Got to pull out the weeds when you see them. So this is like a trough full of heathers. So I think this one is a Calluna vulgaris. I'm sorry guys, I know it's really sunny. I'm hoping that you'll be able to see. And you can see all these like gorgeous, like pink flowers all along it. Maybe, hopefully. And then this one's called Sea Star. So I have no idea like what the actual name is, but you know, it's just like this kind of, let me see if I can get a bit more like shade it, if I can shade it out a little bit more. There you go, you can see like, if I shade it out with my body, so you can see that's the Calluna vulgaris with these gorgeous pink blooms. Then we've got this kind of like chartreusey lemony colour, which I just think is so gorgeous. What is this called? An Erica mixed with a Dahliensis. So it is in the heather family, but it's slightly different, and again, it's going to have all these lovely pink blooms on it. So you can see like the buds of the flowers are all getting ready to bud. So I'm excited. Again, I don't have a lot of like evergreen interest in my garden, so I thought this would be something, you know, to add that interest in. So I think it looks cute, you know, take away the labels, don't look at the labels. And then here we have my, oh, what is this called again? Salix flamingo, and it's Dubrunner, so yeah, it's a tree, and I've underplanted it with these Mexican, what are these? Mexican flowers. I think they are called agapatum, I think is the name. Just think it brings such a different texture. Honestly, I had too many and I just had to plant them somewhere, so I just chose that under here. And we've got some osteopermum. And oh my god, like the colours, guys, the colours. I love this one. Like as soon as I saw it in the garden centre, I was like, I have to have this. And now I'm trying to think of a way that I can propagate it so that I can have some for next year, because I just think this colour, it's like such a variation as well. It's just gorgeous. So cross the fingers that I can do that. I've got these, and honestly, I have no idea what these are called. I was trying to look for the label to find out what they were called, couldn't find them at all. So if you guys know what they are, let me know, but they are just gorgeous. And I do need to come in and do some more deadheading. Hopefully they will survive a bit more till the end of the season, but you know, it's not too bad. They've done they've done a lot of work. And then I forgot, I've actually put an aster in here as well. So that's coming along nicely, a little bit slower than the others, but you know, we're getting there, we're getting there. So this is a heuchera, no it's not. It's a heucherella tapestry. So this is a mix between a heuchera and a tiarella. And look at these blooms. I just think they are so gorgeous. I don't know if I can focus on them without my camera being bright AF. Maybe you can see that. Hopefully you guys can see that. But I just think they're so gorgeous. And it was something I wasn't too sure of, but I saw it at the garden centre and I was like, have to have it. So again, I'm not sure where it's going to go. It's living in its pot, which I've just figured out has a bunch of fungus gnats in it. So I think I'm going to have to repot this after this video. And then hiding back here, ooh, if I get around to this side, is a clematis. And this was one, oh my god, it had an anthill living in it. Had to dig it up and put it in something new, and it's doing really well. So again, this is like a temporary solution. Sorry if you're hearing stuff in the background, guys. People are building and stuff outside, so just gonna have to deal with it. But yeah, it's like, look at it. Oh, almost fell over. And it's got all these other buds on it, so I'm looking forward to seeing those until it lives in its permanent home. And then I underplanted that with some asters, which are taking their sweet time to grow. Hopefully we'll get some blooms out of those before the end of the season, but we'll see. The weather's not looking good. The weather's not looking good. And then down here is like another planter that I've put together, which honestly is looking a bit wild. It is definitely looking wild. This Carex oshimiensis is just taken over. You can see there's a little honeybee. So I planted it with the side with some salvia. So this is just, I think, an annual salvia. The colour is just as gorgeous. It's not quite coming up on camera, the colour actually is. It's more kind of like a blue purple. But the honeybees love this. It's flushed back really nicely. I deadheaded it, oh, not too long ago. I think about a week or two ago, and it's like coming back really nicely. And then I stuck a random piece of sedum that I had broken off of one of the, move out of the way please, heucherella, that I broke off one of the plants that I had in the front garden, and I was like, let's just see what happens. Stuck it in here, and it's growing. It is growing. It's kind of like all stuck up and everything, but it's there and it's growing. So, and it's got these gorgeous flowers. I don't know if you guys can see that. I just like got like super up close, so hopefully you can see that. I have planted on this side some dianthus. Again, I need to come along and do some deadheading because, yeah, you know, the more you deadhead, the more flowers you'll get. But these are also really gorgeous. Very, very bright out here. Sorry, guys. I'm hoping you can see stuff. But yeah, if I can get these again next year, totally will. They are just, oh, I love them. And then we have the same, whatever this flower is, and another fern. This one I think is a poly. I've got the tag somewhere. This one is a polysticum, so it's slightly different from the other one. It's done so well. It's handled, sorry neighbours, but it's handled the weather a lot better than I thought. Like, it was in the sun, like this kind of shaded it out a little bit. I have moved it a bit more forward, but it's handled like 6 hours of sun, no problem. Again, a little bit of leaf scorch, but you keep the water at like the soil moist enough, they'll deal with it really well. So I'm kind of shocked. I'm like, are you really shade plants? Like, seriously? So yeah, there's that container. And then I have 2 hanging baskets up here. They are not doing well. I'm not sure if I have footage of like what they looked like before, but oh my god, these don't look well. So I'm probably going to take them out and redo them with some fall stuff. So you can see they've been attacked by aphids again, which is why there's a lot of like yellowing and stuff. I mean, the petunias look good, but yeah, it's just not, it's not looking great. So yeah, we go back to the menagerie of like pots and stuff that I have, because you know, big projects coming up in the actual flower bed here. I want to do a lot of soil amending, so there's just stuff that I've planted into pots, or I just don't know where they're going to go yet. So here we've got some crocosmia. So this one is called George Davidson. Then there is this one. I think this is like an Australian silverbush or something, and like this is the actual colour of the foliage. Like, this is how this plant grows, which, how insane is that? Again, it's like I didn't realise there was a gold plant. I didn't realise there was like an actual kind of like silver plant like this. So this is just really cool, and again, it stays this colour. I think it's an evergreen, So it will stay like this. They're not very long lived though, so I think after like 5 years or so they will have to be replaced, but you know, I just love this, and I think maybe in like a Christmas arrangement as well, it looked really good, so loving that. And I have this planter here. I've got some pansies because, you know, I grew a whole bunch from seed and way too many, so I had to make something out of it. We've got a dusty miller here. I forgot the scientific name of it, but again, I grew this from seed. I have so many of them. Oh, sorry, bee. I have so many of them. In the middle here, we have an armeria, and these flowers are just like, again, the camera don't want to focus, like the most delicate flowers. I don't know if you guys can see that, but they are just so cute on like this mound of like grassy stuff. I love it. I just think it looks great. Again, another pansy. I have a Louisia, not in bloom yet, but you know, it's not dying, which my others are, so that's a bonus. And then we've got a really sad Santalina, I think it's lemon fizz, which is dying, so let's just ignore that. Can you see these honeybees on this salvia? They are loving it. They are loving it. In the back here we have a, oh, is this a cordyline or a cordylis? One of the two. I'm not really a fan of this foliage. I like how it looks, but I wish it was a different colour. I've underplanted it again with some dianthus. Back here we have a rose which is got black spot, and I'm gonna have to cut that all back and stick it in the bin because I've had enough. I've had enough of dealing with the black spot. Here it was an agapanthus. It's not in bloom anymore. And I underplanted it with some asters, which are coming along nicely. You can see they're all budded up, which looks really good. So can't wait to see those grow. Down here we have I'm not sure how you say it. Is it scabiosca? I'm not sure. I say scabiosa, but it's a pinkish in flower. So again, oh, they're just so gorgeous. In another pot here we have a passiflora, which is just trying to grow all over everything. It's literally trying to attach its, what was that? It's literally trying to attach itself to everything with like these little spirally tendrils. So I definitely need to give it something to climb up. Here was my canna and a whole bunch of weeds. I had it planted in with the sunflowers. They took it over and it didn't do very well, so I cut it back and now it's like reflushing again with growth, but I think it's just a bit too late in the season. So as long as it can, you know, store some energy for next year, I'm sure it'll be fine once I plant it again next year. Here is an entire planter full of these Mexican flowers. I can't remember the actual name. I think like floss heads or something. I don't know. Again, I love them. They just give this like really cool like dainty texture. And then there are some asters in here, but honestly I think these guys have just kind of taken it over a little bit. In the back I have another dianthus. It's a fragrant dianthus. It's struggled a little bit with like acclimatizing to the outdoors, but you know, it's still blooming, so hopefully next year there'll be a better show. The same with this phlox. That dead piece there, just get rid of that. We have an Edelweiss, which is blooming. I don't know why it's blooming now. It should be blooming in the spring. But you know, here we are. And then in the back with this gorgeous like fuzzy silver foliage is a brachyglottis, which is a bush, and it's taken over the pot, and I'm gonna have to take it out and repot it in the landscape because this is just like taking over. So I love, if you can't tell by now, I'm kind of like in love with this silver foliage. And then this I think was meant to be an echinops, but it doesn't look like an echinops, so I don't know what this is. We'll just have to wait and see if it ever blooms to find out actually what it is. Let's see the butterfly. Can we see the butterfly? I hope we can see the butterfly. And then we have a butterfly. We've got another rose here, which is doing a lot better than the other one, but again, it has got some kind of leaf stuff going on that I'm gonna have to come and like deal with. We've got a, don't know if you can see that, what is this again, a dahlia back here that did nothing this year except grow leaves, so you know, that's something. This was a phlox. It had powdery mildew, so I've cut it all back. We'll see if it will flush back, you know, with any foliage this year. Otherwise, hopefully, you know, it is a tuber, it should come back again next year. And then we come to this one, which is an Alstroemeria, I think is how you pronounce it. And I'm in love with these flowers. Like, I can't get enough. They are just so pretty. Like, oh my lord, like with that zebra kind of tigerish pattern. I just think it just brings something completely different to the garden. Here I have 3 penstemon. These are all sour grapes. They have not bloomed this year. I don't think they will this year, but they've put in a lot of growth since I've planted them up in, you know, bigger pots. So again, they're going to go out in the landscape. They are just sitting here because we are planning to do a lot of soil amending, and soil amending is kind of hard when you have a lot of plants in the ground. Here I think is another clematis, but I'm not sure. I think it is another clematis. I have no idea where we got it from. I just saw it in the pot one day and I was like, have no idea where it came from. So here we go, another clematis. We have a dead bleeding heart. It's died back for the season. So can take away this foliage now. It did bloom. It was a very small bloom, but it did bloom this year. So, you know, that was something. Again, for the shade garden. This, I think, is another piece of a dahlia. The tuber, it broke off of the one I just showed you, and I didn't know if it was going to do anything, so I just stuck it in soil just to see what would happen. It has got roots, like it grew roots, but I don't know if anything's going to come out of it, so you know, we'll see. Parsley here, and then I forgot what these are called. It's like pineapple something. Oh, sorry, my finger's in the way. I don't know, not my favourite. Okay, and then here we have, this is Catenacea cerulean, I think, and I love these flowers. They're like papery. I don't know if you can like hear that. Ignore my gross hands. And they're just really cute. I love the look they get. Again, they don't do very well in my soil because I do have very heavy clay soil, which is why I've potted them up in a pot. I'm hoping that they will survive a bit better than they would in my heavy clay soil. But they are just so gorgeous, and they bloom like mad. Can you just see all these buds that are ready, except for this one. This one kind of died because of the aphids, which it got attacked by aphids. But you know, there's a whole bunch more, so it's not so bad. Again, another aster. And then we have the flower bed over here. So on this obelisk, I have a jasmine, not in bloom at the moment, but it's grown like mad. And then I've got another jasmine next to it, which is like a pink jasmine. And then we've got some lupins here, which that definitely this one needs to be cut back because it's not looking so hot. Also, there's some powdery mildew, some lily leaves that I have to come and get rid of because powdery mildew is not the one. So we've had so much rain, obviously, and it was still warm, and so, you know, that breeds fungus, and yeah, it's not good. So I have to come and get rid of those. And there's another one over there that's not in bloom at the moment. Then we have what are these again? Sunflower teddy bears, I think is what they're called, which I'm surprised it's even growing over here because it hardly gets any sun. But you know, I had no space. I just was like, I'm gonna plop you here. And we've got some sad looking snapdragons. I cut them back, they flushed back, and oh god, there's a wasp. Okay, just got attacked by by a wasp there. So what was I saying? They did flush back, so these ones are looking a lot better, but again, I think it just got too wet, and so there's a lot of like brown stuff that I have to just cut off, and we'll see if they will flush back again. My gladioli, which looks like a sorry state because of the windstorms that we had, they all just flopped over. Like we had like 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. I think one day it was even up to 70, and they did not stand up to that very well. So they're all kind of flopped over. These are old. They have to come off. These looking not so bad, these ones. Those ones need to go, but you know, we've got some new ones coming here, new one here, and a new one here. And I think there's one like somewhere all the way hiding back there. Here, this was meant to be a willow tree, like a weeping willow, but like a dwarf variety. It died, I think. Like, they're still flexible though, like there is life in it, but I don't know what happened. We planted it in the ground. It's not loving life. It's not loving life. So I don't know, I'm gonna see if anything happens in the spring. If it doesn't, it's gonna come out and we're gonna put something new there. And then we have just these kind of like decorations. They're just there for the now. Might move it eventually. Also, like, the colour of the fence will probably change eventually. Here we have a, oh, what are you called again? I keep forgetting all the names. Blue fescue grass, Elijah blue, which it looks more green than blue at the moment. That's probably because this one was shaded out. I had like a whole bunch of cleomes planted over here, and I didn't realise they grew like a beast. And they were like 2 meters tall, and they were like shading out everything here. And so I was like, I don't like you, and I just pulled them out. Because I was like, I don't like looking at you, and I think if you don't like looking at something, just get rid of it. So I did just pull them all out. I grew them from seed, so it's not like I spent loads of money on it anyway. So yeah, I just got rid of those. So this has a lot more opportunity now to get a bit more colour, and I just love the kind of like, you know, look how like, woo. So when there's like a nice breeze, it just gives like a nice movement. We've got the little rust thing here, and then we've got a Allium Millennium, I think these are. So you can see they've already flushed out quite a lot. They've bloomed like mad, but we've got one little one here. Got one coming along, and another, oh wait, and another one back there. So again, not sure where it's gonna go, but I kind of wish I would have bought some more so that I could have had like 2. Can't find them anywhere at the moment, so you know, maybe next year we'll find some more. I just love the kind of like pom-pom texture of these flowers. I'd like a whole kind of like drift of them. I think it would look really good. And then here we have our, well, the giant bush that is the dahlia. Don't ask me the variety name. I honestly don't know. But if you guys know, let me know. This is kind of like what the flowers look like. They're a lot darker than when they first flushed out. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's buds like everywhere. It's just like it's like a bloom machine. So yeah, they're just gorgeous. I love it. And like this dark foliage as well, which again, I'm hoping you can see because I know it is very bright. So yeah. Here we have a convolvulus or something. It's gorgeous. Again, with this like silver foliage. Loving it, loving it. Again, another blue fescue grass, blue Elijah. Back here, we have some more of the teddy bear sunflowers with a Crocosmia lucifer. So it's a dwarf variety. I didn't think they were gonna bloom, but as you can see, like it's come out with some blooms. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping that at least if I have one that blooms, that makes me happy, because I was waiting all season for them to bloom. And then all the way back here, I didn't realize the sunflowers would get so big. You probably can't even see in there, but there is a Gaura. There's Gaura lindemii, but it's being shaded out so much by the sunflowers. And then we have some anemones, anemone decans, I think they're called. They usually bloom in the spring, but they are blooming now, and I'm not mad about it because this flower is just, it's just gorgeous. And we've got a red one there. There is a white one, but that's hiding somewhere. And then here at the front of the border, we have a bunch of pansies, and this is everything that I grew from seed. We've got my little solar light there, but it literally goes along the whole front of the border because I just had that many pansies. So I just love the variety, the color. Oh my god, it's just gorgeous. It's so gorgeous, and they're so easy to grow as well, and they just have so much impact. I planted these in April, May, and they're still going. We're like in September now, and they're still going. As long as you deadhead them, they will keep on blooming. And then if I get in here, so behind or next to the sunflowers, we've got a Coropsis, Solana Gold, I think these called. And then back here, we do have, oh, sorry bee, I'm not trying to disturb you. Back here, we do have an Echinacea cantaloupe. Oh god, something keeps landing on me. An Echinacea cantaloupe, which isn't in bloom. I think there's one here. It's not looking great. Again, it's still establishing. It's bloomed. I've cut the blooms off. We deadhead to get some more. So I'm excited to see this when it gets a bit bigger and has more of these flowers. And then here, the showstopper, is the Helenium Bandera. And again, it's kind of split because of the windstorm we had. It was more like compacted together, and now it's kind of fluked over, so I can't be bothered to tie it all up. I know I probably should. I will eventually. It's gonna get moved anyway, I think. Oh my god, I did not expect it to bloom this profusely. If you guys remember, I unboxed this, you remember what it looked like, and now look at it now. Like, this is insane. In front of the helenium is a Salvia Rose Nemorosa, which again has kind of fluked all over the place. It hasn't had time to really establish yet, but it has grass, if I can get you out of the way. These like gorgeous pink blooms. So again, hopefully next year it will look a lot better than this kind of raggedy mess, which I'm not a fan of, but I'm just going to let it do what it's doing this season and then, you know, tidy it up when the time comes. We've got a tiny little heuchera here. I can't remember the name of this variety. It's a lovely foliage accent. I know it will definitely mound out, so we'll probably have to move it from the grass because I planted them too close without realizing that it's going to get so big. And we've got another Carex oshimiensis, which, my lord, it's like grown. It was a little, oh, what was the size? I don't know, like an 8 centimeter can. No, 10 centimeters, I think. And now look at it. Like, it's done so well. I'm so happy because I just love, again, the texture that grass brings. It just brings something completely different to a garden bed, and I love it. I've got my little cow ornaments that my friend gave me. In the back, we've got 1, 2, there's 3 clematis, I think. One of them's bloomed out. The other one's, you know, still kind of in bloom. Some of them are looking a bit old. Again, the colour's not coming up very well on camera. This is actually like a blue, and this is like a purpley blue. But yeah. And we've got some annuals, some petunias here, which I don't even know what happened. There was like a whole bunch here, but I don't know what happened. I came the other day to do some deadheading and I could just pull it out. Right next to that again is a blue fescue grass. Yes, I have 3 of them. I realised they're like too close together. Again, this is probably going to move elsewhere, but it's here for now. We have some more snapdragons. This is a forsythia, which has grown like mad. It's kind of taking over the space, which is not what I wanted, which is why you can see I kind of like tied it up because it was just shading out so much stuff. So again, I think I'm gonna pull this out and move it elsewhere because I don't like how it looks. We've got some pots at the front. This is a forget-me-not. Again, I grew it from seed. It's not a big deal if it dies. I don't really care. We've got another one of these silver bushes, which is budding up to have some flowers, which I hope will come. There was a flower earlier. I don't know what happened to it. I'm surprised that this is even blooming, to be honest, like going to be blooming. And then it's being, you know, invaded by the verbena lollipop. So this is a dwarf variety of verbena bonoriensis. I can't say it properly. So it will stay quite compact and quite dwarf, and I love these flowers. I can't tell you why I love them. I just think they are so dainty. They just bring a little something extra. We've got a verbena Bampton back here, which is not looking so hot. It's kind of flushed out of bloom. It's kind of dying back a little bit, but again, it's kind of similar flowers to the lollipop, but a lot more kind of wispy and airy. I've got a peony in here, which it's going to take probably about 5 to 10 years to even grow into anything substantial, but it's growing something, you know. We're getting there. We're getting a little ways. In hindsight, I probably should have just bought a peony bush, but you know, I can always do that eventually. We'll just see what happens with this. In this one, we've got another crocosmia, which, wow, oh my god, another flower, I'm so excited. And some more anemones, which this is not doing so well. As you can see, the foliage over there, I don't know. I think they got attacked by spider mites, because I know the crocosmia definitely got attacked by spider mites pretty heavily, which is why, if you can see, I don't know, all that damage. So I think these might have, or it's also got powdery mildew, I think, is all over this. So I'm probably going to have to come along and cut off pretty much all this foliage. I'm really glad that there's another crocosmia bloom. I'm just excited. I hope they open up in time. I'm hoping that the weather holds up enough that, you know, I'll get some 2 blooms out of all these bulbs. But you know, next year hopefully it'll be better. Back here we have some more lupins that I pulled out of the ground because they looked like they were going to die, and then I just stuck them in here to see what would happen. They seem to be doing really well. Then I have 2 eryngiums, and one of them is basically dead. It just did not survive. I think it's flushing back new growth. I don't know if you can see like that little green leaves. That could be the lupin actually. Nope, it is the eryngium. So it's flushing back, so that's a good sign. I thought it would be dead, but yeah. I don't know what happened. I've just noticed this also has powdery mildew, so I have to come and spray and cut it off. Bugs spreading it everywhere. And then I've got another eryngium back here, which is a lot of a smaller variety. It's kind of lost its blue. Oh God, bee, I'm not a flower. I'm not a flower. I'm just getting attacked by the bees right now. Oh my God. So yeah, I don't know what happened to the other one, but you know, it doesn't look like it's dying and it's just not blue, but that's fine. You know, that's fine. We've got a menagerie and weeds everywhere. Oh my God. We've got this, another rose. It had black spot really bad. It still kind of does. And I cut it back all the way and it flushed back like this really, really nicely. But I think it has that rose disease where the flowers just come out deformed. So I honestly think I'm just going to get rid of this and try and find something new to plant in these urns. We've got a ginger here, which again, I think the weather's turning a bit cold now for it. I've tried to grow ginger so many times. Sorry, I just got to cover the bulb back up. It doesn't work for me. I think this is like the last time that I'm going to try with it. We've got some basil, which is looking a bit chlorotic, but you know, it's got flowers, good for the bees for now. I've got another lavender bush, English lavender, that I found on clearance, and it's not doing too bad. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it doesn't look terrible. I think once it gets in the ground, it will look a lot better. Over here is a night stock. Again, not my favourite, something I planted from seed. I just thought I'd try. It smells not the best. It's not the best fragrance. They bloom at night and they have a fragrance at night, but it's not my favourite. And then we have some more sunflower teddy bears, which, oh my God, look at that. Look how gorgeous that is. The bees love it. But I think this got attacked by aphids so bad this year. I've got a bird like feeder and bird bath right there. They just came and pecked like all the holes and everything into this. So, you know, in hindsight, probably not the best plant to put here, but you know, it was an experiment. Again, I grew them from seed. So yeah, I mean, they do look gorgeous though, not gonna lie, without my shadows in the way. We have another lavender, English lavender. It got attacked by a Japanese beetle, the French lavender too. There was actually a rosemary bush here, a 20-year-old rosemary bush that got decimated by the Japanese beetle. Sorry, you can see like my shadow. Hi! It got decimated by the Japanese beetle. I'll put a picture of what the beetles actually look like. They just sucked the life out of that rosemary bush. It was a 20-year-old bush. It was big. So we had to dig it out and get rid of it because it was bad. And then they spread to the lavender. So they like all kind of fragrant bushes. So if you grow like sage, lavender, bay leaf, things like that, they will, you know, attack that. So it was unfortunate, but I mean, it looks like it's all right. It's not thriving, but it's not dying. So yeah, that's something. Then we have a canna here. It's trying to bloom again, but this thing was literally dormant for ages. I think it was getting shadowed out. So behind it is a Nephofia, and I think it was just being shadowed out by the Nephofia so much, and we came in this spring and took out all of the dead of the Nephofia, and then I guess it freed up some space, and the canna could come out to live again. So it's got like these gorgeous speckling on the leaves. I love it. I wish it would bloom a bit more, but you know, again, next year it's come out of dormancy after like 3-4 years being in the ground and doing nothing. So hopefully next year we'll get a lot more of these kind of trumpet yellow flowers. The Nephofia, it's all bloomed out, so it's just like this wild green foliage back here. This is my aloe that was living in the house, and I just chucked it out in February because I was like, I don't have space for you anymore. It doesn't look great, I'm not gonna lie. It looks terrible, but you know, is what it is. This hydrangea, oh my God, like you can see, it's got a bacterial disease, so I cut it back as much as I could, and it's looking a lot better, but I think there's just bugs that keep spreading whatever this is, or I just need to repot the soil or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a bit of a struggle with this. I mean, it is flushing back with all new growth, so I'm hoping it will survive the winter, because I did do this 2 years ago. I cut it right back and it came back gloriously in the spring, so we'll see what happens with this. Then we've got this ginormous hydrangea. It is pink. So it was actually more purpley pink because we have kind of alkaline soil. So we are going to try and get them to bloom blue next spring. So that one's doing really well because this one's actually planted in the ground. I think because these aren't planted in the ground, they're struggling a little bit. And we've got a French lavender, which I trimmed back all the way, and it's flushed back with blooms, which I'm happy about. Got some new ones coming along. Here we've got a tub, oh god, falling over, a whole tub of Gaillardia, fingers in the way, of Gaillardia. I put some dusty millers in just because, some more of these weird, like, I don't know what they're, pineapple sunflowers. And then we've got this gorgeous, get off of me, bugs, this gorgeous scabiosa, I think it's called Black Knight or something. The camera's not really picking it up, but it's a gorgeous, like, it's a gorgeous pink cushion flower. I love that. And I'm hoping that it will bloom some more. I've got some more of this agapetum, which hasn't bloomed yet. I'm not sure if it will. Some more of that pineapple, like these ones is over here. This one here. And then, yeah, all the Gaillardias, which have grown but have not given me any flowers, which is sad. So hopefully next year, if they survive, we'll have some flowers. In here, we have a little mini kind of rock garden. We've got a sexy fragia and two kind of sedums. Don't ask me what they are because I can't tell you because I don't remember. And the ice plant, which has just bloomed like mad. It's not so, you know, we've got loads more buds coming. I don't know if you guys could see that. There's a whole bunch of buds coming. And that's what they look like. So just imagine this entire thing covered in those pink blooms. It's growing like a beast, honestly. I've cut it back so much because it wants to take over and I'm like, no. So yeah. And then we have another hydrangea, which you can see how sick it looks. It does not look great. These need to get put in the ground and I think they will just do so much better. Some of it I think is leaf scorch because they did dry out quite a lot in the hot weather, but I know a lot of it is probably that bacterial disease. And I forgot, I was at the garden centre yet, and I was at the garden centre yesterday, I forgot to pick up some stuff to treat it, so, oh god, it hurts me looking at it. Here we have a really sad looking acer tree. I don't know. It has given me new leaves. I don't know how or why, but they are starting to like crisp up. I think it's just too exposed here. It gets too much sun, it gets too much wind. So I might try and dig it up, keep it in a pot, see if it does anything. If it doesn't, it's going. And then here we have a nice little azalea, which again is probably going to live in a pot for the rest of its life, but it's not doing so bad. I bought it as a tiny little like 9cm pot, so it's growing quite a bit, so I'm happy about that. Here we just have an unnamed bush. I have no idea, but I was talking about like under here. As you can see, it's really shaded to plant just a whole bunch of like hellebores and like snowdrops. This was meant to be like a meadow. The seeds did not germinate. We had a nasturtium, just one. And we planted like 300 seeds all along here and a nasturtium came up and that was it. This is where we're planning to do like a little mini meadow. That's like our native soil, which is just crap. So I don't know if this is going to stay here, probably not, we'll see. And then in my old barbecue, we have a whole bunch of cosmos, which there's some weird bug living in here. So I don't know if I can show you the blooms. My nose is going like mad. But yeah, it's growing really well. And a lone hosta. So yeah, that is kind of like the garden tour. I do have a whole bunch of plants just sitting on a bench on the, like opposite me, but it looks like a disaster. So I'm probably not going to show you that. But yeah, that is the tour. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's not the best, obviously. It's a work in progress and I'm just excited to have the garden be doing things, you know, have things in it. It looks kind of semi-decent from what it looked like before. There's so many more bugs and stuff in the garden. You know, the ecosystem is like recovered a little bit, and you know, the more work that gets put into it, I think the ecosystem will just get better. And you know, hopefully over the years, more flowers and more plants and stuff, and it will just start to look like a, you know, a proper garden. So yeah, my nose is running. I have not taken any hay fever tablets, which I completely forgot before this video. So I probably have to go do that now. But yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, you're more than welcome to. Have a great day or night wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you guys soon with another one. Bye!